So it's common to hear people saying that in tough times, like what we're all going through right now, people's true nature reveals itself. Why is it that some people react in a crisis by only thinking about themselves, hoarding food and supplies to make sure that their own needs are taken care of, while others go out of their way to help other people, even at the expense of their own needs, even when it's costly to them? Consider my friend Karina Bahrin. She runs a small boutique hotel, La Pari Pari, with only 12 rooms in Langkawi. The hotel also has a delightful restaurant, Fat Cupid, as part of its hospitality service. And this lockdown has been economically devastating for many entrepreneurs like Karina. All bookings are cancelled for both the hotel and restaurant. And yet she's got fixed costs to take care of, to maintain the hotel and take care of her staff. Firstly, I was amazed that when I had to cancel my booking there because the cycling race in Langkawi in April was cancelled, yet La Pari Pari offered refunds without me asking for it. Because of that, I said no, keep it as a credit because I will definitely return. But what's amazing is how does someone like Karina cope with this crisis? First, she decides to focus her attention and energy on helping others. And she starts by being grateful that she's got a nice home and a well-stocked kitchen, and recognizes that others are in much greater difficulty than she is. So she joins her friends to mobilize a donation campaign, Gerak Khas Langkawi, raising donations and then purchasing food, diapers, and milk for the hardcore poor and foreign workers in Langkawi who've been hit hard by the shutdown of tourism on the island. And she doesn't differentiate who she helps, regardless of race, nationality, citizen, migrant worker, or refugee. She doesn't just talk, she acts. Now it turns out there's overwhelming scientific research that shows that acts of kindness are an effective way of managing stress, anxiety, and depression. And learning how to handle stress, anxiety, and depression is how we become resilient, mentally fitter, and stronger to be able to handle pressure and crisis. For example, people who donate money to help others instead of just spending money on themselves exhibit a higher degree of happiness and improved quality of life. As employers, we now know that when we recruit people for our teams, resilience and mental fitness are going to be crucial determinants of our organization's success. We want team members who can handle stress and pressure even during the most challenging times. And we can't see this just looking at their CVs, their job titles, companies that they work for, university degrees. Instead, we've got to look for people who go out of their way to help others, not once, but regularly, during and before the COVID-19 pandemic. Who are the ones who regularly donate blood or bone marrow? Who are the ones who regularly volunteer at food banks or help tutor underprivileged children? In fact, altruism isn't just a warm and fuzzy notion. The science is now clear. Consider the research by Professor Abigail Marsh, a psychologist and neuroscientist who studies the human capacity for caring for others. She lays out a caring continuum, where on one end are people who have no ability to care for other people, psychopaths. And on the other end are people who are truly altruistic, and she finds one population to test this: people who voluntarily and anonymously donate their kidneys to strangers, not to family of loved ones, but to strangers. That's got to be the pinnacle of altruism, when you're willing to make such a personal sacrifice to help another unknown human in need. And when her research team investigates the brains of people across this continuum using functional magnetic resonance imaging to track brain activity, they find that people who have psychopathy have 20% smaller amygdala sizes than the average person, while highly altruistic people have about 8% higher amygdala size. Now, the amygdala is a small part of our brain that gets triggered when we sense danger, when we feel stress. And more importantly, when people are shown photos of other people with fearful expressions, the psychopaths exhibit hardly any reaction. They cannot recognize fear in others. But highly altruistic people have a very strong amygdala activity when they just see images of people in distress. Unsurprisingly, when her research team investigates further into the lives of highly altruistic people, the kidney donors, they discover a consistent pattern of acts of kindness. We don't just wake up one day and become extraordinarily kind and empathetic. It comes through repetition and consistency. Finally, these people, when asked what makes them special, their reactions are also consistent. Nothing. They do not acknowledge anything special about themselves. There is no self-centeredness. They see what they do as just a normal part of being human. And that's another thing we should be looking out for when we interview candidates. Avoid the ones who talk a lot about their contributions and post it all over social media. Instead, look for the candidates who don't even want to highlight this. This crisis is going to be prolonged. The immediate health crisis from the pandemic is turning into a financial and economic crisis, and soon we're likely to see a humanitarian crisis. And how we respond now will shape our personal story for decades to come. Thank you, and as usual, let's keep things positively personal.